Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the third installment of my tips and tricks series. Today I will be showing you how to play as Jason Voorhees, the mass murdering killer, undead and with over 200 confirmed kills. But without further ado, here we go. Okay, so jumping right on in. Spawning in as Jason, you're going to want to grab both of the knives that spawn in the shack with you. Once you're done with that, immediately, no matter what map you start at, you're going to want to go right to the phones. Now, sometimes, but not always, will a counselor end up being in the house with the phones as soon as you get there. So before you do anything else, you're obviously going to want to get that free kill because they just spawned. They probably didn't grab anything yet. It's a nice, easy kill for you. This way you don't have to deal with them later, and that's one person out of the way. Now, depending on how you want to play Jason, maybe you'll go for this first easy kill like I am. I quickly throw her out the window. I know she doesn't have any pocket knives already. It's very unlikely that she would. But, I like to be a nice Jason sometimes. Usually I'll let somebody go that I find immediately when I teleport. Because, the game just started. They don't have anything. It's not really much of a challenge. But, it's all up to you. But when you first get to the phones, once you take care of any people, depending on how your choice of playstyle is, I like to place a trap, sometimes even two by the phones. This way, I will be alerted when somebody triggers the trap trying to set up the phone box. Another thing I like to do is quickly destroy the doors. This way, if anybody is in the house, if anybody happens to get the phones, I can quickly TP there. They don't have any doors to barricade and keep me out. So it results in a nice, easy kill for me. Another place you'll definitely want to head is right to the blue car after the phones, or anytime early on in the game. This way, if somebody tries to install the gas or the battery, you'll know and you can stop them from progressing with the car. Now, something I like to do when I break down doors, instead of holding left click like most people do, try going into combat stance with C on the computer and just clicking. This way, when you try to open the door, you won't be stuck in any animations. The swing is much faster, and the door will come down quicker so you can get inside and get to whoever's in there, giving them no time to regain stamina, search the building, or anything else that they might want to do on the inside. Now, the reason why you should always be picking up these knives, like in the beginning and any other time you come across them, is because you got fast sprinters and people with a lot of stamina like this Tiffany here. So anytime you run into somebody who's fast and you know is going to be an issue to catch up with, you're going to want to save those knives for that. On top of that, you can stop people from doing animations such as repairing a car or fixing a phone box by throwing a knife at them. This way, you don't have to pause to break it again. Unless it's a car, obviously you can't reverse the effects of somebody repairing a car. So the alternative would be to just stop them in general. You can also stop people from using med spray and opening doors, barricading doors, hopping through windows. So just keep that in mind if you're on the verge of catching somebody and they're about halfway through a window, that throwing a knife at them will stop their animation, allowing you to catch up and grab them. Something you're going to run to very often while playing as Jason with random players is that people will disconnect right when you're about to kill them, denying you the kill. But don't worry, just finish the kill anyways, kill everybody else, and get out of the game. Until Gun Media fixes this, we're kind of stuck losing kills, and we're just going to have to deal with it. Now, if you've played as Jason before, you probably already know all of his abilities, but for the new players and even players that may not know, I'm going to go over them real quick. The first ability you get is Morph. This allows you to TP around the map. Your second ability you get is Sense, which allows you to sense counselors based on their fear levels, whether it be in houses or just out running around. Your third ability is Shift. This allows you to quickly travel around the map. Depending on which Jason you choose, some are slower, some are faster, some get you to go farther, etc., etc. And your fourth ability, which is called Stalk, this allows you to shut off the chasing music so counselors won't know when you're nearby, allowing you to sneak up on them and get a free kill like you see in this clip right here. And a quick little tip for the sensibility: when you activate it, you can deactivate it at any time to save its recharge rate. That way it'll come up faster when you're looking for a counselor, and you can shut it off, especially when you already know where they're at or you found their location and you no longer need to know where they're headed. That's a good time to shut it off so you can save it and get it to recharge as soon as possible. Another cool thing you can do with the shift ability is shift through guns, fireworks, flares, melee attacks, anything like that, allowing you to get somebody to waste their items and allowing you to close distance and attack or grab for that nice, easy kill. Another thing you'll find yourself dealing with when playing as Jason is no matter what you're doing in the map, you could be dealing with other counselors or just roaming around, whatever you're doing at the time. Whenever you hear the sound of somebody messing up on repairing something or setting off a trap, you're always going to want to teleport there as soon as possible. This way you can stop the progression of whatever they're trying to repair and allowing you to buy more time so you can kill off the rest of the counselors. Now while we're here, you'll notice sometimes you'll have a lot of trouble breaking the windows for whatever reason, I don't know why, but you can fix this by going into combat stance, holding right click, and while still holding right click, do a left click. This way your character will do a downward swing, breaking the window. Now you don't always have to break all the windows to a house. I usually don't. Usually breaking down the door is enough to get them to move out of the house. But the only time I like to break all the windows is if I notice there's somebody who keeps jumping in and out of windows, making it really frustrating for Jason to go in and out and around the house. So that's the only time I'd break all the windows. Other than that, I think it's a waste of time. Usually just breaking down the door is enough to get them to leave. Another thing you want to get in the habit of doing is always checking your map and always listening out for sounds that will alert you to people making repairs or escaping. Also, you'll definitely want to be checking up on locations such as the phone lines, the car locations, and anything along that nature, because people can also repair those and get out without even alerting you at all. So you definitely want to stop in, make sure your traps haven't been disarmed, and place more traps if necessary, and just killing anybody in or around the area, stopping them from progressing their escape. Now, a counselor starting a car will always alert you to a car starting sound. Any other repairs, like messing up the phones or messing up a car repair or a boat repair, you'll always hear a distinctive sound related to whatever they mess up on. So make sure you listen out. It's very important that you're able to distinct the sounds so you can teleport to the right locations at the right time. Traps will also give you an alert when triggered, so make sure you know exactly where you're placing your traps, because when they step on a trap, it'll make the same noise every time. So knowing exactly where you place your traps is very important. When you look at your map, you'll see a little red circle, and when you hear the trap get triggered, you're going to want to check your map, see where the circles disappeared, and teleport to that location so you can finish off the person there. While we're still talking about traps, I will recommend that you only use your traps for objectives. This way, you can keep your objective safe so nobody can escape, allowing you more time to kill off all the players. Now, fighting counselors in a 1v1 can be pretty easy as long as you know what you're doing. When you're fighting a counselor, especially when they have a baseball bat, an axe, or a machete, you're definitely going to want to be blocking their swings. This way you don't take damage and you don't get stunned. All you have to do is go into combat stance and hold right click. This will shield Jason's face with his left arm, allowing you to keep damage off and not get stunned. Now, fighting counselors in a group is a different story. 9 out of 10 times they'll just hit you, making you drop the counselor. So thinking about using left click instead of right click is always a good idea. Now, fighting Tommy Jarvis can be pretty frustrating, especially if the person playing Tommy is a decent player. So, as soon as you see Tommy, you're going to want to deal with him first, especially if he's just spawned in, because if you wait any longer, he might obtain some pocket knives, some med spray, a baseball bat, and it's going to be a real pain in the butt for you later. So, make sure you take him out as soon as possible, and you won't have to deal with him later. Now, I already covered this in my stealthing tips and tricks video, but since it's relevant to now, I will cover it now. When using Jason's sensibility, you should always be able to sense somebody inside of a house. As long as a counselor has any amount of fear, you should be able to sense them from greater or lesser distances depending on which Jason you choose. Depending on the perks that a counselor has, it may be harder or easier to sense them. Now this character, AJ, is very stealthy, so her jogging up to me didn't give me any movement blimps. Luckily, I was able to scan her with my sensibility. Now, as she starts to run away here, she sprints and I can see movement blimps. Every character in the game will give off movement blimps while sprinting. As you play your favorite Jason more and more, you'll begin to realize the distance that your sense can sense at. So make sure you pay attention to that because some Jasons can sense farther than others can. Now, every character in the game will give off movement blimps while swimming, especially when swimming fast, alerting you to their location. So make sure you keep an eye on the water, especially at the Higgins map, because somebody could be going in the water to get Mom's sweater, which is to stun you or kill you later in the game. Another thing to note when playing as Jason is that people hiding inside of a house, under a bed, or in a closet will not give off a sense that they're in the house. A good way to counter this strategy is by cutting the power to all the towns in the map. Especially since the character I'm looking for right now is an AJ, her stealth is very high and she has very good composure. By cutting off the power, it raises her fear, allowing me to sense her location no matter where she is. But because I know she's in this house already and I know she's hiding, I listen for the audible breathing sound that you hear when somebody takes a breath, and I'm able to distinct her location and get the kill. Cutting the power especially works when you're looking for the last character alive, especially since they'll definitely be hiding somewhere in the map. Now, when talking about which Jason to choose, it all comes down to user preference. If you like a Jason that can run, then you're definitely going to want to go for Part 3 or Part 2 Jason. They're the easiest characters to run in my opinion, but it all comes down to your choice. I personally like Part 8 Jason because he breaks doors faster, but it all depends on your preference. If you want a Jason that can catch up to cars or catch up to the boat faster, for the boat you might want swim speed. For the cars you might want to be having a Jason that can shift faster. Or if you have a preference of being able to teleport more often, you might want the Jason that can morph more often. So it all comes down to user preference. There's no right or wrong. I mean, I personally think that the Part 8 Jason is the best because he can break down doors faster and because he can swim and catch up to the boat faster. But it all comes down to you, whichever one you want. There's no right or wrong. Choose the kill animations you want and then have a blast. It doesn't matter. The only real thing to keep in mind is that the plus or minus doesn't just have to do with the cooldown and how often it comes up, but it also has to do with how fast you move. For instance, with the shift, if it's got a minus next to it, that means your shift speed is also going to be fairly slow, like the Part 2 Jason. One other thing I forgot to mention earlier in the video is Jason has another ability called Rage. And this starts off completely empty at the beginning of the match, so you can't use it. But as the match progresses, it'll slowly increase. It's in the top left corner, and it can increase faster when counselors hit you with things. When they hit you with a flare gun, the shotgun, pocket knives, melee weapons, it doesn't matter. As long as you're getting hit, your rage meter will increase faster. And what Rage does is it allows you to walk right through doors and walls without having to break them down normally with your weapon. On top of that, it also increases your sense range incredibly far. I mean, I've been able to sense somebody halfway across the map, so I believe it also has a few other kind of perks to it. I'm not 100% sure what they are. I haven't been able to find anything online as to pertaining to what Rage does, but I know it does the other things with the walls and with the sensibility, so once that's maxed out, you can walk right through doors with that, so make sure you're utilizing that as well. So that's pretty much it on how to play Jason. He's pretty easy to grasp. Just make sure you're saving your traps for the objectives and don't use them on houses or anything like that. I think it's kind of a waste of time, but I do appreciate you guys watching the video. Your constant support has been really uplifting and really has inspired me to keep making these videos to help you guys out. I love knowing that my tips have already helped so many people out. I mean, my subscriber count has more than doubled in less than 3 days, so I really appreciate that. We're actually almost at 100 subscribers as I'm recording this video, so that's absolutely awesome. I very much appreciate it. Uh, I hope someday I can get big enough and, I can get more recording stuff. I don't use the best recording stuff and I don't have the best microphone or anything, but I do greatly appreciate you guys still watching, and I love the comments. Please keep bringing the comments to me. I like to hear everything, whether it be criticism or new ideas for different projects. Whatever you guys want to post in the comments, go right ahead. I love it. It's great. But, as per usual, go ahead and like and subscribe if you want to see more content. I will definitely be bringing more to you guys so you guys can learn and grow and just be a better Jason, be a better counselor, and have a little laugh while we're at it. So I hope you all enjoyed the video. Have a great day.